Because I don't believe, I'm coming to the conclusion, I could be wrong, and maybe there's some other evidence out there that will convince me otherwise, but I'm coming to the conclusion, looking at all the evidence of timing and photographic evidence and how how Obama looks and where his mother was and all that kind of stuff, and I'm coming to the conclusion, and looking at what had happened during that time frame and time period, I've come to the conclusion that Obama is a natural-born citizen because his daddy is most likely not Barack Obama Sr. from Kenya, but Malcolm X. Now, for those of you who might think I'm off the deep end, I'm not going to try to explain why I'm leaning towards that, but let me just point to just some picture evidence, if you will. Take a look at a picture of Barack Obama, Sr., and Malcolm X. Now, you tell me which man that Barack Obama, the president, looks more like. And he looks more like Malcolm X. I'm going to be honest about it. He looks a lot more like Malcolm X. But we probably never will know the absolute truth unless somebody's able to do a DNA sample on all three men. Maybe we'll get lucky and he'll decide to do the Ancestry.com mouth swab DNA sample kit thing, just to find it. Well, we know where I guess he knows his mother's heritage, and we supposedly know his daddy's heritage, Barack Sr. But it also might explain why he isn't so close to his Kenyan family. Maybe President Obama knows that Barack Sr. isn't his dad. I don't know. There have been some suggestions about Malcolm X. Even though Malcolm X, much like Louis Farrakhan is today, was preaching all about black power and black this and black that and black liberation theology, but Malcolm X, from what I understand, had a penchant for white. He had a couple of affairs with white women, and quite frankly, I would think that would be cause for death. If Louis Farrakhan found out that Malcolm X was having an affair with Barack's mom, that might have been enough to push certain factions of the Nation of Islam over the top to assassinate him. Just saying. And Malcolm X, he openly talked about it. I think as far back as at least 3 months before his assassination, that he knew he was going to be assassinated. He knew, and he probably knew exactly why, and maybe that was the reason. That's water under the bridge, and it really doesn't serve any purpose now because the man is the president. He's been elected for 2 terms, and he's pretty much almost done with his second term. Thank God. But but anyway, we got a lot to cover tonight. Some House Democrats are coming out against the Iran deal. There's some IRS reporting out there, some reports in the IRS and how they're handling, conservative requests to be, nonprofit groups, climate. Maybe I'll start a super PAC. I was actually thinking, and I'm going to bring this up next week, but just wrap your heads around this. I was actually thinking about starting a Friends of Veterans group. Now, don't get me, we've got a lot of wonderful groups out there that help vets, but here's the issue. I haven't seen, we've got Wounded Warriors, and they do a great job helping wounded veterans cope and recover and try to lead normal lives. And you have certain veteran groups that are out there that help veterans with PSTD and how to come back from combat and live a normal life and reintegrate in society. But I don't see a lot of strong groups out there who just will, for any issue, especially on healthcare, will just be the warrior for the vet. So what I'm thinking about doing is looking into starting a new ultra nonprofit group and PAC called Warriors for Vets. And yeah, this comes about because of I've seen the treatment that my own father has received from the VA hospital, and it's atrocious. It really is. And I have learned by him being in and out of the hospital over the past few months, some of the stories from other vets, from all age groups, having to go through the same thing, and then finding out, some statistics about how the VA and the government is trying to manage their costs through the VA, and it's appalling and it's atrocious. And this kind of atrociousness is coming from both sides of the political aisle. So don't think it's just Obama out there trying to screw the vet, although he's leading the charge. But and this is why I say that we need a nonpartisan, group of people who are warriors for vet. No, look, the vets are out there fighting for our freedom and our liberty every single day. The least we could do is fight for them, and that includes things like them being able to defend themselves on homeland soil by being able to carry their own weapons. With all this stuff that's going on about, I got some other information here today about soldiers being shot at in America. I mean, this is ridiculous. Our soldiers should be allowed to be armed to the teeth. Well, and I know some people are saying, well, Rod, that's kind of a bad idea because what if they decide to turn those guns on civilians? Well, they could do that anyway. It doesn't matter if they're carrying them. They can still get, if they're ordered to start, a war against the American people, having their guns locked up is not going to keep them from following orders and going to battle. That's the whole point. But so that is that's a red herring issue. That's not gonna that has nothing to do with it. But stuff like that, and I'll get more into that next week as I do more research. And because look, I like to know stuff, and before I can really tell you the whole story, I got to make sure I got my facts straight. See, I'm not one of these guys that run around out there and just start spouting all kinds of stuff. I want to make sure I got the facts. I want to make sure I know the truth. That's what it's all. See, you can always trust that I am going to do the research to get to the truth for you. I'm not going to speculate. Well, okay, so I'm speculating on the Obama birth thing, but that's just a hobby thing. Whenever I get to doing some research on that, I get to doing it. But when I'm bringing you real stuff, it's well researched. I'm not, I don't take one source. If there are other sources available, I just don't take one source and then you just run with it. Oftentimes you'll see, on my website and everything, I might have one or two sources, but understand I'm using that source because it seems to be the most plausible and logical at the moment, but it's backed up with a bunch of other sources. So it just doesn't stand alone. It's not like I just click, here's a story that comes across my newsfeed, and that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to go with that. No. A story comes across my newsfeed that catches my eye. I'm like, okay, well, now time to do a little bit of research. Let's see what some other sources are saying. And I often go to, mixed sources. I look for some liberal sources on the subject or the headline. I look for the opposite view. So if it's a conservative headline that comes through, I'm looking for a liberal and a moderate. I'm looking for a number of different sources so I can actually try to piece together what the real truth is and get all the stats and statistics and numbers and facts that I need to get in order to bring you that kind of. This is why it takes a while to prepare for a program like this. Because I just don't go run around out there and just spout off the first thing that I see. How many times? Look, even when you do your due diligence, I do my due diligence. But even when you do your due diligence, sometimes there are people that do fool you. I'm not the only one that's been fooled before with news. I mean, hell, the lamestream media has been duped numerous times, and I can honestly say I have been duped a lot less than those idiots in the lamestream media because I do my research. So you can trust what I bring to you. Now, if I would need somebody to help me run my website if I was going to list every single thing that I looked up and used for a source. I mean, it's just the amount of information that I have available that I gather is just absolutely astronomical. And I'm not really a real speed reader, although I do read kind of fast. I can skim and read kind of fast and get the facts, but I'm not a true speed reader. I really wish I was. I can get through so much faster. But yeah, look, folks, it takes me time to get through this a lot of times, and sometimes, I'll find stuff and it'll be from, like yesterday, from research I've done yesterday, and I carried it over today because, I didn't have time to go over it yesterday with you, and I knew I wasn't going to, so I'd save it and bring it on today so I can carry over. So the days when I'm really running behind the gun and I have very little time to finish my research, I still have something to discuss with you because I've already done pre-research and other stuff. So my information funnel, if you will, is constantly full. Constantly full. Because I'm constantly constantly looking at stuff to bring to you on a daily basis. And yeah, I do all that. I don't have help. I'm not like some of these other big hosts and even smaller hosts that may have a team of people or interns and all that kind of stuff. Even these stupid morning shows, local morning shows, have interns and stuff. I don't have that. So all this stuff is I have to do myself, and I just do it because I just want to make sure that you guys all get the proper information. I don't want to end up with egg in my face. I don't want to be duped by anything. But we have Putin is, we'll go over some Putin stuff. He's making new worldwide land grab, and I don't think he's going to be stopped by Obama. So we may lose a large part of the globe, and you'll be surprised at which part of the globe that Putin is talking about is, hey, this belongs to Russia, Mother Russia. And a whole bunch of other stuff. There's a disease that's making a comeback, I guess, over in New York City. New Hampshire starts. Let's start the night off. Maybe I should wait to the after the break to bring this one to you. But New Hampshire has done something that I'm rather proud of, and y'all should be kind of proud of it too. Actually, well, you don't live in New Hampshire, but New Hampshire has done something that the federal government couldn't seem to do, and that is New Hampshire has defunded Planned Parenthood. Now, here in New Hampshire, I guess New Hampshire, the state was giving Planned Parenthood more than $800,000. Yeah, I didn't know how much Planned Parenthood was receiving from the state. So that, that's nearly $1 million plus, whatever the federal government gives them for the local plan. That's kind of a lot of money for a small state, and for a state that has a small budget, like, fairly small state budget. $800,000. I mean, that's just that's not normal. But hey, this is what this is. Well, yeah, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, when we get back, we'll also go over some fact check about where Planned Parenthood really spends all their stuff, spends their money on, and you might be a little surprised by that. I know I'd be a little surprised by it, but I was a little surprised by it, and it's not something that well. You know what? Yeah, and I know the debate's coming up, so we'll probably talk a little bit about the debate too. But when we get back, we'll get into the Planned Parenthood stuff. So hang tight, folks. We'll be right back.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time.